All right. So, anything y'all want to share, talk about before I kind of get started? Anything on your mind?
Yeah, when you was talking to Jared, I heard you talking about like AI, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a question that I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Like, when do you think that it's like when is AI supposed to like spark your thoughts,
Is AI
not like give you all the goodies? Like, when do you use it and when don't you? Because I love ChatGPT. It thinks so fucking fast.
well? My thought on AI and when to use it and when not to use it is depending on what phase you are in terms of creation.
What do you mean?
If you're in the imagination phase, I don't think you should use AI.
Because it's fucking with your perception.
No, because it ain't your imagination.
Right, it's doing the work.
And it's not doing the work, it's actually a large database of other people's work. Like AI ain't this mystical thing. AI is a accumulation of a whole bunch of information that's been extracted and collected from all of us.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So if you don't use it during imagination, when do you use it?
In implementation, when you need something done, the thing you would hire somebody to do, for me as an artist, is when I would use AI. Is when I use AI.
Are you thinking to use AI for your captions?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
But
Like AI doesn't have an imagination that could hold a candle to you or any of us. It's actually a accumulation of something that already exists.
that makes sense.
You know, like it's not this. AI isn't. It's not magic. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not thinking. It's actually um, spitting back out a large record of something.
The shit that we done spit into it for
Yeah.
however long.
That's why we say, "Oh, that sounds like AI."
Got you.
That's fine.
Oh, I was reading the comments. But yeah, so that's my thought. My thought is it's like this. If you want to me, if you want to be an artist, don't use AI. But just because you use AI, it don't mean you can't use it in ways that complement the part of you that's an artist. You know, to me, yeah,
Okay. I can hear
you know,
that. Mm.
like who's a lifelong artist, the excitement of AI is it as a organization tool to whatever extent, you know, for what's actually coming out, for what I'm actually saying, for what I'm actually thinking. You know, like to me, AI will never replace the person with the imagination
Right.
because AI is developing itself off of our imaginations and off our behaviors and what we say and what we think and how we do it and how often our routines and all that kind of stuff. That's why the stuff sounds like AI.
That makes sense.
The same way it's a lot of people who are doing the same thing, saying the same thing, making the same thing. They sound like
The same thing in AI.
what we call it. They sound like what?
A robot.
That's what I was
Robots.
about to say.
So everybody in real life, when they doing the same thing, we call it a robot. And then when we look at AI, AI is the robot.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
oh yeah, so that's That's my opinion on AI. But it made me think about, so the conversation that I just had with him got me thinking about a quote from a page. I just can't remember the name of the page right now, but it's make art, not content. Like that's his thing. That's his tagline. That's his slogan. That's his message. That's his branding, you know? And I'm constantly thinking about where the line where the line is
Right.
of making art and making content. And when he's saying make art, not content, what I'm experiencing as an artist, as a photographer, as somebody video, somebody with a lot of documentation, a lot of audio recordings, the content is the documentation of the art that's being made. And at some point, Jaren said something about creatives and in reference to content. And I said, yeah, but the art is different than the content. He's like, right. He said, because that stands the test of time and that. And I said, well, technically, the art expresses the emotions. The content shares what got expressed. So artists express emotions, content share the expressions that's been captured. You know? But it's definitely something that's topic of conversation, you know, especially already in the conversation of are you an artist and what makes you an artist and what's the difference between an artist and a creative, and the person who's using their technical abilities to express themselves versus somebody using their technical abilities for anything else other than expression of themselves. So it's like if you got an idea and I make it for you as the creative person, I'm not expressing myself.
Right.
I recognize that my struggle when people want to hire me to make something is that I can only make something that once I do it, it looks and feels like I made it. So there's not a whole lot of room for people to stand over my shoulder and instruct me on how to express myself. You know?
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because we definitely going in the direction of, you know, who's the creative, who's the content creator, what's art, what's content, you know? Like we going there.
That's a good job.
Yeah.
Real artists expresses their own emotions through the work.
Yep. And I think I think we can tie this into the conversation you and I was having about the text memes that you're making. And maybe simplifying them. And don't be the graphic designer yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that conversation?
Yeah.
Because I wrote down when are you making art and when are you making content? So with the when are you making art, it's like being aware that what you're making is to express yourself. Versus when you're making content, being aware that what you're making serves a different purpose than expressing yourself.
Gotcha.
You know, if I have something that I made, something that I created, and I'm expressing a part of myself, and I've made artwork, and I don't make, I'm not a content creator, and I hired a content creator, that individual would be making something that helps me share what I expressed, right? When you're an artist who's making your work and making your own content, it's almost like it's two different hats that you wear. So you don't necessarily go through the same creative process when you're making content that you do when you're making art. It's been easy for me to start to figure it out because I noticed that when I'm making content, I use the phone. And when I'm making my work, I use my, what I would call my real cameras. Even though somebody could very much argue that the iPhone is a real camera, but I'm using the phone because it's already where that documentation is where it needs to be. One step away from being shared. That's the reason to capture it with the phone. You know?
Yeah. My question was about my videos that I'm posting of the poems.
Mhm.
How many do I need to post, and then what's after that?
How
Is
many?
that ongoing? Like just post all of that's in the book eventually.
I think you being in the content creation and content like sharing development, I don't think you should give yourself that kind of deadline.
Because that's experimenting.
Yep. Yep.
Like no rules with the experimenting.
Yeah. Or at least, I mean, even if it's rules, maybe no confinement. Maybe if, like if you want some way to contain or confine what you're doing, maybe look at doing it for a time period more than looking at it as how many pieces of content do I do, you know? Like maybe see how long, decide how long the experiment will last. You know, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You know? And it may, and so I'm not saying no to do it till the book is done. But I think you should be open to how it continues beyond the book being done. You know?
And that becomes the second part of the question. What's next?
Right. Because I think what you do is going to determine what's next.
Right. And then my other question is about when do I start? Like I'm supposed to be simultaneously kind of promoting the book too, the upcoming book.
Yeah.
And what ideas do you have for that?
I mean, just off the top of my head. I mean, we could be talking about the upcoming book. It could be, it could just be as simple, the title,
Coming from
and that be, get posted like weekly, some kind of routine. I think if this pre-order get locked in and official, it seemed like that's how to get the most benefit out of marketing and promoting the book, is having there be something for them to be able to go. Buy and purchase. I mean, I kept thinking it would be dope. I never printed it, but just the acronym of the book. Maybe it's time to have just that text, them 4 letters on a hoodie to start to help manifest the marketing and all that of it, you know?
Yep.
That's helpful.
Yeah, like
Just
just,
went to the acronym, the text is gonna be wrong too.
you said what?
Additional to the
Oh,
WBA,
yeah.
We Look Better Alive.
Yes.
It's gonna be a hit.
100%.
The tote bag, the t-shirt, the hoodie.
Yeah. And it don't got to start off more than,
You wearing it.
right. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, them was just some quick thoughts. um, what I want to talk about as well is based on what y'all working on. Are y'all seeing that what you think you want to share with people, is it the same as what you feel like you're learning that people want or need?
What we want to share, is it the same as what people want or need?
Like, so if,
I feel like it's interchangeable for me. I feel like I can see when I'm excited about a post and that post does very good, that other people need it, want it, have it, hold it, in comparison to where, like when sometimes when I'm experimenting, it not getting a lot of engagement, wondering like if I'm hitting on the specific topics.
are you ever experiencing experimenting and getting more engagement than you anticipated?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I didn't even know this was what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my audience likes the things that I'm afraid to say the most.
That's wrong.
Damn.
This.
Right.
So did that make it easier or harder to say?
Damn.
I mean, it leans towards makes it easier.
Mm.
Because it's like affirmation. It's like, oh, they want to hear this.
Yeah. They don't want to talk about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like all the posts that like are edgy and got some kind of like acerbiveness to them and some. Oh, I was scared to even say that. That's what people love the most.
Right, that stuff that's the most uncomfortable.
Is that the same for you, D-Black? That your audience loves what you are afraid to say the most? Not like that, but like.
My audience seems to love when I'm expressing the most energy, which is usually with the stuff that make me mad or that frustrates me. Like, and when I express that, it seems to get the biggest response. Or when I'm talking about stuff that, this is when I'm talking about stuff that people are uncomfortable saying. Mm-hmm. Yep. And for me, I ain't even anticipate none of that. Like all of the stuff that get a big response, I would have never guessed that would have got the biggest response in terms of when I'm talking. When I'm posting and sharing content, some kind of documentation, I can always anticipate what's gonna get a big response. But when I'm myself about something specifically, like I'm sharing kind of a perspective or an opinion, and I'm my full self, that get the biggest response. The stuff that makes me uncomfortable, to make me, the stuff that makes me uncomfortable to think about when I'm posting it is the stuff. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. But I feel like I'm learning a whole nother world of what people want or what people need
Based on what you posted.
based on what I'm posting. But it's interesting that when I think about what is it that I needed when I was trying to figure out what people are trying to figure out, that's the stuff that gets the biggest response. So I realized that I'm not completely conscious and aware enough of what I actually needed when I was trying to figure this stuff out. Because otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised. I could be way more intentional in what I'm sharing or how I'm sharing it if I thought more about what I actually needed at the time when I was trying to figure out whatever I was trying to figure out. Because that's what I'm experiencing when we in conversation, is that we have wonderful conversation and wonderful talking points, but the thing that really, really activates my energy and experience is when I'm relating to whoever I'm talking to from a perspective of when I didn't understand some of the stuff that I done figured out. Because they're actually revealing it to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't, somebody might be expressing that they don't see their own value. And I'm sitting there like, oh, right, duh. I didn't see my own value. But I didn't think to share that at the beginning of the conversation. But I'm realizing that what's needed in that conversation is the part where I really relate. So that's what's been so exciting for me, to be able to reverse engineer the information, to actively be putting myself in the conversation that helps me get to like the root of what I'm sharing. You know? So I saw a post that I shared with y'all.
From Nikki's.
Yep. About the 6 forms of content.
Can we play it?
Yep.
It's 6:08.
Yeah, a little bit 20.
Okay. I mean, we can prep to shut down at 20.
I'm going to D-Box and
You might play and pause.
play and pause. Okay.
Right. First one, educational. 2,
You'll
Number
write.
2, story.
You'll write these down.
5
Educational.
It's 5 types of content
You should be creating to build your personal brand.
you should be creating to build your personal brand.
First one, educational content. Number
Educational content.
2, storytelling. Literally, that's what it is. Just tell the story. Number 3, behind the scenes. Number 4, interactive content.
I think she's gonna say more about that.
5, collaboration.
Oh no.
I'll even give you a bonus one. I like bonuses, I really do. Call this one reaction or your perspective type of.
Reaction or your perspective type of content.
This will keep you relevant, and this is where people will start coming to you to see what is happening inside of your niche and inside of your market. Okay, so write these down and tell me in the comments which one are you going to concentrate on first. Or 5 types of.
Had you seen that one?
No, I hadn't seen
I
it.
know you was like busy last week, so I know you might not have seen it when I sent it.
No, I hadn't seen it.
I love that post because she making what's complex, she making it simple, and she's sharing a framework of making content.
These are good too. Very good.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so it is all of that. But I think if we start being able to have a framework, I think it starts to help us be able to organize when we coming up with our ideas. The fact that we didn't develop, a huge long list of content, right? Some of what we talking about, some of our content is literally going to be educational. And I feel like for us, a lot of it is educational. Like we teachers, but then we storytellers. And I think that we all can identify with all those different forms of content when we watching somebody else do it, When I saw that, what I started thinking is it's going to be able to see the list: education, storytelling, behind the scenes, interactive content, collaboration, and reaction. I'm able to see what I do a lot of. I'm able to see what I do sometimes, and I'm able to see what I don't do at all. And for me, the experiment is going to be trying to do more of what I'm not doing and do better the things that I am doing.
Yes.
In my experiment, in the day-to-day. People keep saying posting every day is not a social media marketing strategy. Posting every day builds the muscle memory and routine of posting. So once you have a marketing strategy, you've already conditioned yourself to implement it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in building the routine of posting on a regular basis, I feel like we just really getting more and more ways to specifically do it and in our experiment. We could probably take one post and share that post in all of those 6 ways, same information.
Yeah.
So I didn't recognize it initially, but now I'm seeing how you can come up with a never-ending supply of content without having to follow trends of entertainment, or news and politics, these other broader like systems, if that ain't what you're into.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Definitely need to do more interactive and collaboration.
And then we talked about maybe weekly or as needed, kind of having like workshop time. Like if you wanted to be recorded talking using your 20 points of how to interact with Black girls,
Right.
for audio or just for the conversation, whatever you would want to do with it.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Because I know it's some stuff that I could think about. It's some stuff that I'm working on that would be helpful if I bounced it off of y'all, because it's one step away from being ready. So a conversation would finalize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need that too. That'd be good.
But if we can do a quick, where are you at with like what you working on? I'm working on 3 products. It's the literacy with the photographs for young people. It's the how to engage inner city Black kids for teachers, primarily white teachers. And then the artist handbook survival guide. Them the 3 things that I'm a few steps away from putting inside of a course builder or my free PDF. I'm gonna start at the free PDF. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna create what I'm calling cheat sheets around it. But I'm finally getting from the phase of fleshing out frameworks, talking points, and solutions and challenges for those 3 things. What you working on? Or what you need to work on?
I'm doing my video posts of the poems from If It Heals At All. The promo for We Live Better Alive. And the How to Work with Black Girls.
What you doing with that?
With the How to Work with Black Girls?
Yeah.
Oh, breaking down the 20 steps.
Oh, gotcha.
Giving more meat behind the steps.
Gotcha. And what about you?
I am raising my prices and working on my website.
You said raising your prices?
I went to my website and raised them and kind of made my stomach hurt.
Mm.
Let them big on numbers. But creating more simple memes or art of things to just straightforward say the words and fleshing out like what's coming to mind. Like I found myself making Canva, trying to get a flyer to promote the coaching classes, reminding me of questions that I wanted to ask, to dive deeper or agitate the crowd, which made me add more things to the note of goals that I had in the beginning, which was making sure my braids is neat, making sure that I was leveling up, make sure that my pricing matched my work, matching, and that they kind of bounced off of each other. I noticed that earlier.
Gotcha.
And I also took a look at my analytics earlier, and my analytics reflect like who I'm looking for. It's females that's majorly following me, and they 18 to 24, and also 24 to 35. So it's raw that I get the crowd, and then hearing that the girls from Aspire seen us on Instagram, that also was raw. But like now, like trying to figure out the content that follows the shit that is straightforward, and the cheat sheets and the quick need to knows.
Gotcha. We got a question in the chat. And it's, what are you an artist in? I know you got like 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
What are you an artist in or expressing, and what keeps you motivated? You answer that before you got to go?
What am I an artist in? Like, what's my discipline?
Yep, that's how I'm reading it.
Literary arts, performing arts. And what was the second question?
And what keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated is the fact that I have all this like history and all of these experiences of being a Black woman, and knowing that I don't have children, and that I know that my work is my legacy and is what I have to leave behind, and that the people that I've lost, I'm keeping their names and their stories and their history or herstory alive through the work.
Wow.
It was a great way to put it.
Hey, right. What about you? What are you an artist in? And It said, nice, nice. Thank you. Cool answer. We got a couple more responses for you. What are you an artist in, and what keeps you motivated?
A visual and great artist, and what keeps me motivated is watching two people able to, my mentor is able to like create life off of like themselves, like niggas is like real full-time artists and real able to share the story and their perspective and give it, educate, and this is what I've been through and this is what I have to give, and my point of view is essential, and being able to also tell the story from all my family, my point of view is like the goal. And keep my people down here name still alive.
So, and I probably identify as a visual artist, doing photography and drawing and murals and a lot of the visual arts. And my motivation is probably being able to continue to grow, because I feel like I've been making all this stuff for so long. What I'm learning is that it's helped me continue to like grow and evolve and change. And I'm able to see myself reflected in the work and through the work. I'm able to understand myself with the work. So the fact that making the work is doing that, it motivates me to continue to make it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I don't think I ever really thought about what my motivation is prior to this question, you know? Because it does, because, yeah, like what my true motivation is. You just rip that page? That ain't your book though, is it?
Look at that.
What audience do you all target? And if you find yourself with a whole different audience or what you didn't expect, do it affect you or do you transition? Example, target 30 to 40, but you get younger or older crowds. So the audience that we target is creative people or artists, young or old, who identify with any of our experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And that being, you know, more about what your ability to make what you're making, the challenges. So it's like the stuff that we are individually experiencing on our artist journey seems to be where we can relate and connect the most. And then we are art educators. So we found ourselves in situations where, as 40-year-olds, talking to a bunch of 20-year-olds and interacting with 10-year-olds like all simultaneously. It seems like the artist, no matter what the age, is like a universal audience, no matter what discipline. Like me being a photographer, I'm able to get feedback and get help from a writer, or I'm able to provide feedback because I'm not speaking from a technical place, not knowing the other disciplines' techniques. I'm speaking more so from a conceptual place. The what am I hearing? What are you saying? Am I receiving it? Did it confuse me? You know, am I experiencing what you're trying to express? So I think that's what's been happening. Or looking at the routines of being able to make art and being able to see similar techniques. I mean, like similar routines. How much do you practice? How much do you study? You know, do you follow anybody? Do you go see anybody perform? Do you see anybody share their work? Are you sharing your work? So it feels like the relationships and the audience interaction, there's not a whole lot of transitioning that needs to take place because
It's so universal.
it's very, very, very universal. I appreciate your questions.
Definitely. I'm still trying to think.
And yeah, we gonna, I don't know if you, let me see. Interesting. A universal audience. I like that. Also, like you're flowing in your craft without following by the textbook, one size fits all. Yeah, I tried to follow the textbook, one size fit all, and I ain't fit. And it took me some time to give myself permission to
Rewrite the books.
rewrite the book, but also just to make what wanted to come out, and not have to see myself as one thing. And if I had to identify with one thing is, what I would consider a very universal audience which is the artist. The person that understands what it feels like to be the weird family member, you know what I'm saying? The creative one, the one that could draw, the one that could sing, the one that gets special attention or interaction, the one that usually feel responsible and obligated for helping everybody else in their family, the one who feel guilty for pursuing opportunities and leaving people behind. So I don't know that the artist is the broadest audience that it could be, but it's definitely the one that what I'm talking about speak to the most. What somebody said to me was the way to figure out your audience is think of where you would see yourself sitting in the audience. And the people that you're sitting around is who you would be talking to if you on stage. And I'm like, man. Like, so once I heard that, it was like, oh, right. The people that's in the audience with me is the people that I would get on stage and be talking to. So, yeah, we about to tune out. I don't know if you know that we be on here every Tuesday by 5 o'clock. Then, I don't know if you're on Instagram. I'm at dblackjr_, because that's where I kind of post some of these shorter clips. But I appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in. And then we be back at it next week. I just subscribed, and okay, I'll follow you.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, appreciate you.